Playboi Carti is one of the hottest names in rap and in music as a whole right now. And the driving force behind his massive success is his unique sound and his constantly evolving production. And his latest production era, led by legendary producer Carto Got Wings, has been generating incredible hype. So with that being said, today I'm giving you guys an exclusive behind the scenes look at the insane production of Playboi Carti. And this includes how to make his super sinister melodies, his unorthodox drum bounce, his ability to maintain energy throughout his beats, and his metal influence. So with that being said, the first thing that we're going to cover today is his sinister melodies. And something you'll notice a lot in his recent beats is that his melodies play these phrases called half-step intervals. Essentially, all that means is that two notes playing consecutively are one semitone away from each other. And in any minor scale, there's going to be two places where these half-step intervals can occur. And that's going to be the 2 and the 3 of the scale, as well as the 5 and the 6. And this technique is especially prevalent in songs like Ketamine.
Niggas don't love me. The bitch wanna fight me. My t-shirt on.
And Hood by Air. So with that being said, for the foundation of our melody, we're playing this string pattern going from the 5 to the 6 of our scale. Yet again, making use of those half-step intervals. And another thing that's very prevalent in Hood by Air is the use of layered strings. So I just have yet another string, but this time making use of the root note of our scale. And typically the root note is going to be a good note to use in tandem with those half-step intervals. They mesh very well. Now, those two sections of the melody pretty much just take up our mid-range frequencies. And if you want really full melodies, you want to take up the entire frequency range. So the next thing that we have thrown down is a high-frequency synth. And yet again, here we're making use of those half-step intervals. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's because it is an insanely useful technique. And to fill in that low frequency range, we just have this low octave piano playing the bass notes of our main melody. It's a pretty simple melody, nothing much to it. Really, all you want to focus on is layering strings, filling in the entire frequency range, and making use of half-step intervals. So with that being said, this is what it sounds like in its entirety. So that's going to completely cover his sinister melodies. And the next portion of his production that I want to cover is going to be his unorthodox drum bounce. Now, in a typical 808 pattern, you'll lay something down where the emphasis is every 2 bars. But something I've noticed with Carto's production is he likes to place the emphasis of the 808s every 1 bar instead of 2. And this technique is especially prevalent in Hood by Air. And essentially all that means is you're going to want to 808 hitting on the downbeat of every single bar. And as well as that, obviously, you're going to want to sprinkle in some notes in between. Now, another production technique that Carto uses with his drums is just spamming open hats. And this is something you see in both Ketamine
Niggas don't love me. The bitch wanna fight me.
and in Evil Jordan.
First I go whip out the bow. No, I can't hit on no brakes.
And I'm just using this classic Chief Keef glow open hat. And like I said before, all you want to do is just spam these open hats, go absolutely nutty with them. And something you could do to make them more interesting and bouncy is introduce lower velocity notes. And the last staple of Carto's drum style is the introduction of cowbells. When you hear a cowbell in a beat like this, you automatically know it's a Carto beat. And I like to have my cowbells in tune with the melodies since they're a melodic percussive element. So yet again, I just have them playing on the 5 and the 6 of our minor scale. Aside from that, you're just going to want to throw down your basic stuff like snares and hi-hats, but I don't need to go over it because it's relatively simple. So with that being said, if you're making use of that unique 808 bounce, spamming hi-hats, and integrating cowbells, this is what your drums should sound like. that's going to completely cover the drum section of his production. And the next thing that I want to cover is Carto's incredible ability to maintain energy. And to maintain energy throughout your tracks, what you're going to do is take away or introduce new portions of the beat at certain moments. And a good rule of thumb for this is that you pretty much want every 8 bars to have something new or have something taken away. And this could either be through the introduction or removal of melodic components or through drum components. And one thing I've noticed in songs like Evil Jordan is that Carto will do this with his open hats. So in certain sections of the beat, he won't be playing the open hat. And in the next section, he will introduce the open hat.
First I go whip out the bow. No, I can't hit on no.
Doing stuff like this kind of ensures that there is a flow of energy throughout your track, rather than it just being stagnant the whole way through. So that's going to cover how to maintain energy throughout your tracks. It's a pretty simple concept, but something that some people don't make use of. So the next thing that I want to cover is my favorite part of Carti's production, and that is his metal guitars. And this can be seen in both songs like Ketamine,
I'm fucking with a bad little vibe, mommy all over her tongue,
and in his live performances. So for this beat, I'm making use of an incredible plugin called Ample Metal Eclipse. This has been my go-to metal guitar VST for like 2 or 3 years. I absolutely love it. And for this metal guitar, I have 3 different layers. The first of which is playing a low octave pattern, making use of half-step intervals. As well as that, we're leaving spaces in certain portions of this pattern for the next layer. The second layer of the guitar is going to be these triplet chugs. Now, to get this chug sound in Ample Metal Eclipse, you're just going to want to activate the palm mute setting, and I'm playing these in those spaces that I left in the previous pattern. And the third and final layer of the guitar is just this high lead pattern, yet again, making use of half-step intervals. There should be like a drinking game where every time I say half-step intervals, you take a shot, but I'm saying it all the time because it's a very effective strategy for making dark and sinister melodies. So yeah, this is what the lead pattern sounds like. And something that's really fun to experiment with these kind of beats is making your own metal intros similar to his live performances. And a super easy way to do that is just introduce your melodic components over the span of the intro. As well as that, you're going to want to make use of ambience, cinematic effects like risers and whooshes, as well as a sub bass. So with that being said, I'm going to play the intro and the drop of this beat to showcase our final product. So yeah, that's gonna pretty much cover the insane production behind Playboi Carti and how to make beats in his style for yourself. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial and learned something new. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. As well as that, consider checking out my Patreon where you get the FLPs to all of my beats in all of my videos, including this one. That way, if you wanted to study the mixing, mastering, arrangement, drums, melody, all that kind of stuff, it's right at your fingertips. And finally, consider subscribing as I post 1 tutorial a week and 1 sound kit a month. Other than that, it's gonna be it. Peace!